Do your own research and due diligence before investing in any. The information I provide is in no way or manner a professional suggestion to purchase shares in any publicly traded company. I am not licensed to provide financial advice, and this should be considered entertainment. These stock profiles are intended to be trading ideas, a starting point for research. Any individual who chooses to invest in any securities should do so with caution. Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk. You may lose some or all the money that is invested. Always research your own investments and consider consulting with a registered investment advisor or a licensed stockbroker before investing.
Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Soundman back into the building. What's going on, everybody? Glad to see you guys back. We fixed the stream. We fixed the stream. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Can you guys hear me loud and clear? I believe you guys can hear me loud and clear. Please give me a yes on that. I really appreciate you guys joining me in the chat room. Appreciate you guys working with me. I think we're live and clear. Waiting for you guys to say you can hear me. You say it's hard to hear me now? Let me turn the sound off. You guys saying it's hard to hear me? Am I too low? Okay, I gotta turn myself up. Okay, hold on. Am I too low? Too low? You sound very far away compared to the music. I sound real far away. Okay. Yeah, we got the video straightened out. Now you guys are saying my sound is far. Hold on. We gonna find out. We gonna find all that out in just a minute. I do sound kind of far. I don't know why I do sound kind of far. I noticed that. Hold up. Test. Ba 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 ba. Test. Test. All right. Somebody saying a little bit louder. Man, I swear I got my gain all the way up. Y'all want me to blow my damn eardrums. Turn up, man. Let me see here, man. Let me see. Y'all about to have me blow my damn ears up in here. Hold up. Hold up, man. When I got this damn blue microphone. All right, test. Is this better? No, yes. Sounds good enough? Hold on, man. Hello. Damn, I do notice that my volume's a little light, but yeah, I'm not sure, man. You say it's perfect now? Is it good? Are we good to go? You said it sounds the same? You said we're good? Perfect? What's going on, Dwayne Watkins? All right, man. Okay, all right. Let's get to these stocks, man. I'm gonna figure out the sound. You know, the first thing we had the issue was the picture. We couldn't even get a decent picture, and now you guys are saying it's the sound. Damn. All right, we're gonna figure it out. If it's not one thing, it's another. You know, technology. But we had a lot of stocks run today, man. We had quite a few. Then we had a couple ones that many of you guys are in the chat room you love crash today. You had a couple crash today, which was really, really interesting because I wasn't expecting the kind of pullback that I saw on AMD today. When I look at AMD, this is almost 2 days in a row now on AMD. It's basically failed to live up to, you know, its current gains or maintain its current gains. If we look at, preferably you see it on that 3-month chart on AMD. I'm seeing some real weakness starting to develop here. And we're going to get into the pennies in just a bit. Shout out to everybody who was in USEI today. I'm telling you right now, you got in really early on USEI. So as the company, reemerges, develops, news comes out, I'm telling you right now, when I look at stocks like OWCP, when I look at stocks like Strikeforce Technologies, SFOR, I mean, you're sitting perfect. You're sitting perfect. You can worry about some other stocks. It's just one of those things where I wanted you guys to get in so that as the company develops, you're going to see those gains come into your account. But with that being said, AMD, tech play that we love here, graphics card play, big into gaming. A lot of their money still comes out of gaming. We do understand that, but we also love them because we saw them as a stock that, in this whole Internet of Things, that companies would definitely reach out to them to use their services, and the hype was, real. But it looks like a serious pullback now developing in AMD as we see here now 2 days. So Thursday, Friday was pretty much that sideways day you see right here. And then, today, falling as low as 985 today. So I see we're showing oversold here. We're showing oversold signs here on the 90-day chart. If you go to the daily chart, we're still also on that lower end of the RSI on AMD. So I'm interested in hearing from you guys what you guys think about AMD, because I know we got some people in the chat room. You guys follow this stock religiously. You follow this stock religiously. So it's going to be interesting to see what you guys believe. D. Wilson, you say you're in at 007. Nah, you're not too late on USEI. Not too late. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on USEI, but it's one of those things I just wanted to let you guys know because, man, you guys write me emails and say, I want 1,000% stock. I want a 2,000, a 3,000, 4,000% stock. Well, here's your opportunity. Here's a triple that is dirt cheap. That's in that hemp play located in California. It's got the license to, grow marijuana in the state. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right. But you're in early. You're in early and you're sitting in pretty. And again, a couple dollars, we've seen here many times, a couple dollars will make its way. Shout out to Bad Scientist. You're talking about Angie's List. Yeah, man. I've been very clear on Angie's List and what I believe about Angie's List. Angie's List came right back onto my scene here this morning based on those declines. I'm very, very clear on Angie's List that I think it's basically garbage. Now, what the news that they put out about the fact that 50% increase on members, many of them are not paying members. Many of them are not paying members, and that's one of the news that they're not letting people know. Like, oh yeah, we increased our membership 5 million people. Well, not all of them are paying. Not all of them are paying. They're simply adding up individuals who sign up at Angie's List for an account. So that's going to come out in due time when we see earnings. That's why when these companies like Angie's List that trade on the NASDAQ, more developed companies release news, wait till earnings to really verify it, because I think when earnings drop and then we realize that many of them are not paying, and in fact their paying subscribers have actually decreased, then the reality is set in. And that goes to show me why the chart looks like this. I mean, look at Angie's List, spread out the chart. The chart alone will tell you what I honestly believe. I think Angie's List is headed for the pennies. I honestly believe that. All right, and the market will eventually determine that and, come to the same conclusion. I honestly believe that. When we pull out the chart a little bit, I'm trying to pull out here's the 6-month chart. So we're back to touching lows here. We're back to touching lows, and I think the gains are eroding, and we'll be sure enough retesting that 636 in no time. We'll be retesting that 636. But that's what I believe about Angie's List. So we'll see. Going back to the pennies here. What's going on, Nathan Qualls? Shout out to everybody in the chat list, man. In the chat room. Shout out to everybody here. Who's got Mr. Lloyd on the call? 206. Mr. Lloyd, what's up, man?
What's up, Sal? What's going on, everybody? How you been, man?
Oh, man. Just glad to be back. Glad to be back.
Oh, yeah. I know it's been all right year so far, man. I mentioned earlier in the chat room, the CVSI has finally come back around, man. But that was one stock I was contemplating on, man, taking a a $600 loss, just to consolidate my money. But I couldn't bear to lose $600 just because I'm being impatient. So I'm only down 100 right now. Hopefully I can get to that 60 cent mark, which I think it will make it tomorrow.
Oh yes, no doubt.
So I think once it goes past 60, I'm going to put a stop loss on, so that I didn't protect myself last time. I just kind of left it alone, thinking it was going to go up, and it crashed on me. So yeah, so man, I'm gonna take that $2,000 and bring it all over to TD Ameritrade. I made the biggest mistake of my life. Was it last week?
What happened?
I bought Netflix.
Okay.
And somehow, don't ask me how, man, but I ended up buying 5 contracts, and it somehow was $1,100.
Damn.
Now, I built that account up from $900 to $2,500. So when I saw the $1,100 in there, I was down $600 within like 2 minutes.
Damn. Yeah.
And the only problem that I have with options is that I'm playing directional with the calls and puts, man. But I knew the stock was going to go up. However, when you just don't know when, and when you have time decay on your side, that was a huge problem for me. So I end up holding end up getting like $700 back out of that. So, but because it went up Friday, but the time decay was killing me, man. I was like,
Yeah.
So I'm starting to buy longer options now, and to see how they play out. But other than that, man, I mean, yeah, I'm still consolidating all my trades, and they just slowly going up one by one.
Okay.
As far as anything new, what about you? Anything good?
Other than that, man, I mean, the stream's back up, everything's rolling, man. I had a lot of work to do in terms of wiring and programming, but we're back up. I've actually slowed down when it comes to options, man. I took a couple L's on SPY. Yeah, man, on SPY, on that SPY pullback last week. I was like, what the hell? We supposed to be going up, I mean, and I said, man, as much as I love it, I was like, man, this is, you make money very quickly. I get that, but you also lose so quickly, man. I've never, it's been a long time since I've seen $1,000 disappear in like 2 minutes.
Right. That's exactly how I felt.
It's been a long time for me to lose money that quickly. So I just decided, you know what, let me take a little bit of a break. Let me go back to the pennies here. Like, I know what I love to do. Let me go back finding my buy low, sell high technique, holding for, my 14 to 90 days and make my little 3,000, 4,000 a month that I was doing, buying low and selling high, finding those hidden gems that will develop over time. So that's basically what I've done. Is I'm going back to the pennies, focusing on these, companies that are beat up, that people aren't focusing on, that haven't been pumped in a while, and then making my, investments, and then just kind of sitting back and letting things happen.
Right, and I totally feel you on those L's, man. I think I had a couple myself, but here's the strange thing, man. Taking an L in an option, and taking an L in like SDOCQ in a penny stock.
Okay.
I actually felt better taking a loss in options than I did in penny stocks, because penny stocks will have me on the edge all day long because you just don't know.
Right.
But at least with the option, you it's like a 50-50 chance. So, but I mean, it's all good, man. I think the structure of when I met you kind of gave me a greater understanding of how to read charts, which I felt has benefited me with options. However, what I need to work on now is reducing my risk, because I'm putting too much capital. Well, not intentionally, but I'm missing my timing in the market, and because I thought 7:30 would be a good time for me to get in, and actually it looks like 10:30 is the best time to get in, because people start slowing down and closing up their trades, and so I'm actually buying at the peak of the market when it's during that half hour I was telling you I was getting in.
Okay.
So, but yeah, man, I mean, my goal and focus right now is to find those GDX plays, the $70 plays, and getting that $500 to $600. Not, as much as I love Amazon and
Right.
those high volatile stocks, but they also cost a lot.
Okay.
And you can lose a lot faster. So, what I'm focusing on now is buying low implied volatility.
Okay.
And I see why I kind of like earnings, because as stocks get closer to earnings, the implied volatility increases, which
All right.
you sell into the implied volatility, which more implied volatility is more premium. So, anyways, but yeah, man. So I mean, it ain't no science yet for me, man. I'm still testing the waters. As you may know, I've already taken that new job, and so I got 3 days off to kind of figure out what I'm gonna do with this new stock career that I'm trying to get together.
Okay. I mean, but it's good to see that it's working out for you, Mr. Lloyd. Though, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, you found your niche, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me tell you, man. It still hurts me today, man. Every time I flip through my damn pictures and I see that $5,000 that I took, that 116%.
Damn.
And I mean, whew.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's $5,000 I didn't take, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, man. So yeah, everything's all good, brother. I really appreciate it, man. I think, if it wasn't for you, man, I would not be here making at least a little money.
Yes,
so I know it's possible.
Yes, indeed.
All right, brother. Well, if I got any good picks, I'll definitely let you know. But CVSI, I think, will definitely be a winner for tomorrow.
Yes.
So for penny plays for you guys, I don't know how far it's going to go, but I bought in at 60. I wish I would have bought in at 28 when I had the opportunity, but I was already down $1,900 in there, or excuse me, $600. So I didn't want to put any more money into it just to average down. So, anyways, all right, brother. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sal.
No problem. Thank you for the call, Mr. Lloyd. Appreciate it. Anytime.
Have a good one.
All right. That's our brother, Mr. Lloyd. Long time listener, long time caller. Appreciate Mr. Lloyd so much all the time. Got to give him a yoda on that. Appreciate those kind words. And, with that being said, man, all the weed stocks for the most part are running. So, everything's hot right now. I mean, I haven't even gotten to OWCP and what that did. 347, you're on the air. What's up?
What's good, Sal?
Is this Big Shag?
It's Big Shag, bro. What's good?
Hey, what's going on with you, man?
Listen, man, you know what happened today, bro?
You tell me what happened.
REXX.
Let me see here. REXX. Rex, the pharmaceutical, is oil and gas. Rex Energy.
Excuse my friend Sal, but I called up a couple weeks ago, and you basically told me to go fuck myself with this.
I honestly thought it was trash. I thought Rex was trash. I mean, what made it run today? Like what made it run today?
Let me pull up the news. 2-year financial and operational plan and financial update.
All right, so a corporate update from the company. Okay.
But I expect the offering coming soon.
Yes.
I don't know, it's probably one of those pumps, but still, either way, I mean, just for you guys, just to watch it tomorrow. I'm still holding, so make me some more money.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at the 1-year chart, Big Shaq, I mean, I threw up the 1-year chart. I remember when you called up about it, and it looked horrible, and I'm thinking like, okay, this isn't going to do anything. But I mean, yeah, you got it at a nice price. What was that? 40s, in the 40s, basically.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's nice, but, I probably expect an offering coming soon as well, just based on this new, hype on it. Do you think it's going to last, though? Is this a multiple day thing, or are we pretty much done here on that game?
I think we have one more day, honestly. I think tomorrow, it'll open around $1, and then I don't see this going to $2 unless it's, the volume is crazy, because today the volume is pretty high, considering the past year.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it goes, I would say, if it can break like 120,
Mm-hmm.
and then I see room up to about like 150, 170 in that range. So,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, it all
even,
depends if we have support tomorrow. I'm going to see if we have support tomorrow to start the morning.
yeah,
And crude's been looking pretty good these last couple of days, so that's good on our end. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this stock. But we
yeah,
got to have support tomorrow, at least in the 70s, high 60s to keep the run going.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
man. It's a shame you were gone the past couple of days, man. I had some tickers, and I missed like some of your days, man.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, I missed some of your days where I was about to give you some good tickers, and they wound up breaking out. So I felt bad not getting into the room. But now I'm just cleaning out my watch list because most of the stuff that I had on watch for like the next couple of days either broke out or broke down. So
Okay.
so I mean, ARRY, it's a little higher price, but I hit you guys up about this a while ago. How it's in consolidation, and it's on the breakout.
Yeah.
Well, it has been breaking out touching base. And, you know, this is the one thing I have no idea is these year-long breakouts like this.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea when it'll stop. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I would be afraid buying into this.
Because I see ARRY on some of our November shows. So we've talked about ARRY, and it's been an incredible run for the stock. And but again, it's one of those higher price plays. But you know, are we buying it too high if we were to jump in now? Do you think? Or I mean, it's one of those plays that I think it's been up here before. In fact, let me see if I can get a 5-year chart. Okay, so it's actually broke out of its 2015 price level. Here's a 5-year chart of the stock. So we're in unknown territory actually for ARRY.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to keep going here, or is this kind of overbought here?
You know what? If I were to get into it, I would let it run until it wants to run, and then I'll wait for it to pull back and consolidate, and then look for the second leg up. That's what I would do.
Because we're definitely hot on the chart. Yeah, we're definitely on the hot end of the chart. So we'll see what happens with ARRY.
Yeah. So I mean, the only thing I got right now, I guess JNUG is looking okay.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, it's consolidating similar to ARRY was, like around the 920. Above that, could see breakout, but I don't know. I mean, I just saw watching this a couple of days ago because it's been like it had some good volume recently.
Okay.
But the problem is it bounces around a little bit. Like there's no like big breakout day, so I'm expecting it like over 920 maybe up until 10. So I don't know. We'll see that.
Okay.
But besides that, like I said, most of my tickers I kind of took off my watch list because they either broke down or broke out.
Okay.
Like Con and PIR both broke down, and that's really it. So I'm in the process now looking to more tickers. But actually, DXTR is kind of curling back up. It could have a second leg looking at it.
That was CXTR?
I'm sorry, DXTR.
DXTR, okay. Yeah, I remember playing this one too. DXTR, the NASDAQ Advanced Medical Company. Yeah, I remember playing this here not too long ago as well. Okay, at 182. You think it could move from here?
Yeah, it's starting to like curl up a little bit, and it had a decent day today. So, I mean, maybe over $2, I'll start watching. I'm gonna set an alert over like $2 because that's the 200 moving average right there as well. So
okay,
but that's really it, man. Sorry I don't have that much for you guys.
No problem, man. Appreciate the call, Big Shag, as always, man. Thanks for calling.
All right, no problem. Talk to you later.
All right. So there's Big Shag, the man with the plan. And shout out to Big Shag for the call, man. He's always got some good tickers, man. I got to give it to him. He hit it out the park with that one. He definitely hit it out the park with RXII today, and I got to give him that one. I definitely got to give him that one. All right, Dries. You know what, Dries? A lot of people are talking about Dries below $1. And here's the thing: when you got a previous runner like this, I'm looking for a bottom when I talk about Dries. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where this bottom is, and in fact, let me wear one of the bands on it. And the bands are getting a little tight now on Dries. I took a look at Dries today, and look, I like a former runner that's beat up like this. I like a former runner that's beat up like this. I'd like to see a little bit. I want to see maybe another day. I want to see another day. I want these bands to get really tight, right? So I want to see like maybe one more day on dries, because I think maybe even at 162 you might be a little too high, because after that huge run that it's done over a couple times, you got a lot of bag holders. You got a lot of people who are kind of afraid to sit and wait on the stock. So that's basically what's going on here. You got people who just, don't want to be a bag holder in the stock right now, right? And the people who are in it, unfortunately, they got to continue to lower their price to get rid of their shares. So I think, low 140s, I think you probably still have another 20 cents you got to shave off. But, these bands are getting kind of tight, man. I think a move could be, coming around the bend here, and I wouldn't count against dries possibly doing another run again. Because we've seen it done, 3 times now? Dries, yes. Desert Edge, you're exactly right on it. Desert Edge. Dries can do, $5, $7, $8, $9 in the same day. So I would never count against this stock possibly making a huge move. What's going on, Jay? Let's see Jay in the chat room. What's going on, Stock God? Shout out to all the old people, new people in the chat room. Kelly girl, hello. Yeah, I went and turned the mic off, so I'm actually using the mic on the camera, so that's why I'm a lot louder now. All right, but yeah, I have dries definitely on my radar, man. Any move, if dries even dares make a 10%, 15% move, I'm all over it. I'm willing to risk being all over it. If dries makes any kind of 15% move in one day, I'm jumping on it. Even if it ends up pulling back, I'm willing to risk it, because I understand what the kind of momentum that this stock can bring to the table with, some good news or with some, a good move. Yeah, we've seen it too many times, way too many times. RNVA, Renovo Health. Renovo Health, that's another stock that, has spiked several times here at 10 cents a share. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We've got a couple stocks today that have very similar stories. I'm going to bring up too. 772, you're on the air. What's up?
What's happening, Sal? What's happening, Sal?
Hey, Treasure Hunter. What's good, man? How are you, man?
Yeah, man. Pretty good. Glad to see you back on the air.
Yes, indeed. Glad to be back on the air.
Awesome. I don't know about Dry shaving off 20 cents, bro. It looks like that bitch shaving off a couple of dollars.
I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, look, you're not the only person who has mentioned that. They think Dries is just basically kaput, and it's over. It's never running again. But
it's never run. It's just a matter of when.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, that chart is ugly, man. This has been, a shorter's dream. This is a shorter's wet dream right here. Look at this chart, man. So I wouldn't, say that a possible bounce could be bad. I think I'm trying to use the word dead cat bounce, but the stock's not necessarily dead. It's just really, beaten up. So we'll see. But the company still runs. I haven't seen any indication that they're in some kind of financial trouble or anything like that. In fact, that they mentioned about a week ago that they were about to buy another ship. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, let me see. SSH, what happened to them? They did a reverse stock split and dropped out of New York, whatever, and went to NASDAQ. So I think it was up to like 10, and then it's like a drop off, keep dropping, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe find the bottom or whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. SSH did the reverse split. I mean, they basically had to, I think it was a last resort for them. They didn't get the Yeko deal, and that's something I'm going to go into today as well. Well, what happened with that low float Yeko play that I was really excited about. But, unfortunately, not every company is going to get that approval from NASDAQ. They're going to let them continue to, stay on the exchange at those really depressed prices. So SSH had to do what they had to do in reverse split.
Mm-hmm. And another play I did Friday, my bounce place. Lately, what I've been doing, I get them on the bounce, and they've been in it, in the green, when it's open.
Okay.
It was I bought it Friday, and then I was going to cash out Monday, but I was going to have your take on it, see what's going down with it, why it's done pretty good.
What stock is
I
that?
think it's EXK.
EXK. Okay, this is the silver producer, right? Okay.
Yeah, Red Friday.
Yeah, this is the silver producer. I've been watching this as commodity prices have been going higher. Look, it's not bad. I mean, I think it's a safe long swing for somebody. I'm watching it. It's moving in between the funnels here. So I've been watching the stock, and we'll see what happens. It's always finding its way eventually between 4 and 11 and 394. So in fact, I got to update my lines here I see on the stock, but but it's actually on the top of my breakout what I thought it would be of that 411. So it's actually broken above it since the new year.
Yeah, and it keep giving me gains, like every day, Like, I don't know how long it's going to run, but
Sure.
pretty decent on it.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's one of the better, gold plays or silver plays out there. As you can see, when gold was trading a lot higher, it can get up there. It can definitely get up there. So I'm continuing to watch the price of gold, the price of silver, and then see what happens. But this is one of those situations where, if you got it at the bottom, then you're in sitting pretty. And I would just sit back and relax as these prices recover.
Yeah. Another bounce play that I was in that I hope it went to the roof, but I'm gonna see what it's gonna do tomorrow. Is AMFW.
AMFW.
Mhm.
AMFW and AMC Foster. Yeah, you're gonna have to let me know about this one. This is a stock I don't know much about. What you got going on here?
Some I digged up that flip here now and then.
Okay.
But yeah. He's not pulling up for you.
No. It's right here. It's right here on the screen.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you tell me what
Yeah.
it's about. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, one of my little flippers.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, we'll see what he's gonna do tomorrow. Got him for the low, and then he was coming up.
Okay.
But like I said, market time ran out.
Okay.
So we'll see what's up. Hopefully, when I wake up in the morning, be in the green,
Okay.
like that EXK did.
Yeah, I'm not sure what had happened here back in October. But looks like it's a slow but gentle recovery in the stock. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, if I don't know about something where it's going to be, you're going to be up 30% the next day. But if you're willing to swing this maybe to the mid sixes or something like that, I could definitely see that happening. It looks like it's got some life up there. It has been up there in the past. So I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, I could see a recovery here happening for sure.
Sweet. You know what I'm saying? If he go low, anything go lower but than what I paid for, exit. I take on the trigger,
Right. That's all that matters, man.
True that. And I gradually kind of moving back to the penny stocks, man. It's time to get me head out the clouds with that option crap.
Yeah. No. Look, you got to come back to the real at the end of the day. So it was only a matter of time. So
I mean, hey, getting paid on it, saying on the saying on the stocks, penny stocks,
There it is, man.
But I can't give options. You can make money in options too, but like I said, you lose big. If it goes wrong,
Yeah.
These stocks, you make out with something.
That's true.
Unless it's not bankruptcy play.
I hear you on that one. Very, very true.
All right, a big note. Call you tomorrow, and keep up good luck, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Treasure Hunter, for the call, man.
Anytime. You got it, man.
All right, so shout out to my boy Treasure Hunter too. That's another oldie. Another guy who's been around here the block for a long time. So shout out to Treasure Hunter for that one. Gotta stop that VLC thing from doing that. I don't know why it keeps doing. But anyway, what's going on? Yeah, we're gonna. What's that? ECEZ. Yeah, let me get some of you guys' tickers. We're gonna look through them. And ladies and gentlemen, don't hesitate to if you got a ticker, you like a little bit about it. Call up EZEZ Echo Sciences. Don't know much about it. Looks like had a rough day today, 12% down. which I think honestly is just, it's an okay day, honestly, for the pennies. We know these things can turn in a blink of an eye. So, but the stock looks like it's been quite depressed for some time. Let me see. I don't see any kind of recent news on Echo Sciences. So typically when I see a stock that's double zero, hasn't really done much, no recent news, I like to actually get in a little bit cheaper than what it's at right now. ECEZ 0064 right now. Let me see here. Based on the chart, it looks like you got support at that level, so I guess it's not too bad. I'm seeing support as far back as June in the price, and I'm not seeing much of any action. That's the only problem here. So if you're looking for just, a decent run, maybe up to the 90s or a penny, looks like that's happened before. So we'll see. Hopefully you get that news that you need to get up there. All right. But I'd love to see more news in the stock, man. Love to see more news in the stock. All right. Shout out to Gregory Hall. Yeah, we talked about USEI. Like I said, USEI, we talked about it. Look, I've already seen what it's done for people back 2012, 2014. And, we got up to even the high 12s today. You're in early. I think you can't get any better than where it is now. But USEI, it's a great place to be in, honestly, from where it is. You're talking about hemp-based in California. You're in sitting pretty. Just sit back and wait and, look at some other trades while this sits in your account and just kind of grows along with you. MSTX, 14 cents a share. This is a situation, too, where, last week we had that news that they were going to merge with Sarvana or Savara. You guys remember on the show the other day, we had a guy call up and let us know that there was going to be a merge. And that was basically what was responsible for that gain that day. And, it's already looking like it's kind of giving those away, which is kind of sad, man, because, they're getting rid of the Mass Therapeutics name. So they're going to keep Sarvana. And they're going to get supposedly a new ticker as well, obviously. So, you would think that with this, better news, merger, that, it'll probably bounce off these gains. It's looking like it's giving it back. So very, very disappointing for MSTX. They're going to, this is another stock that's going to have to be, trying to figure out what are they going to do, with these share prices. Are they going to reverse split, or are they going to also get that deal that Gecko got today? All right. RJetQ is a bankruptcy stock. We haven't done really well with bankruptcy stocks here. Might look into it. We'll see. I've mentioned Yeco, YECO. Yeco was the Chinese construction play. I believe is the Chinese concrete company. I loved them for a while because they were it's an incredibly low PE. I think the PE was like 3 or 2 or something like that. It's something stupid low like that. YECO. And they got recently that listing request granted by NASDAQ, letting them with, I believe, another 180 days or something like that. Some more time, basically. So they're getting more time to be able to trade at the low prices that they were trading in for so long. But now they're over $1. If they can maintain, this for another 10 days, they're sitting pretty. So YECO, 50% gain today. The high was actually 144. They were up to about 64% or so for the day, settling at 49.39% for the day. So huge move for Yeco. I don't believe it's going to hold. All right, I don't believe it's going to hold because it's been, it's been quite a depressed stock for a long time. But we'll see, man. We'll definitely see. Yeco, YECO. All right. But with that being said, I'll bring up another ticker in just a moment. FECL was a paid pump that I had going on here a couple days ago. Oh, no, actually about a couple weeks ago now. Sorry, about maybe 3 weeks ago now.
I was paid to talk about the stock. I let you guys know about it. It did somewhat, pretty well, but eventually after I stopped talking about it, it was a decrease in the price. So sure enough, it looks like it just found that bottom. And again, this is kind of one of those situations where I think we can see in drives where, after a stock gets beat up after so much, it just finds that sweet spot where people are saying, buyers just say, no, it's, now it's too low. This is the bargain. And I think for FECL, that was just that price. I mean, that 1 cent or whatever that was, 1 cent, 2 cent price for the stock. And, it just went nuts. It's an actual, company. They've got, products. They've got over 2,000 employees. So I'm not sure, the financials aren't the best, but they don't deserve to be trading this low. But compared to some of these oil companies that we talk about here that have nothing going on, FECL is actually a decent, operating company. So why their stock is this depressed, your idea is better than mine. All right, your idea is better than mine. What's going on, Sinclair? All right, let's see here. Cool. Polyretite with the ticker cool. Let me see here. Okay. Don't see much else going on. Looks like it's definitely something that spiked before, gave the gains back, and now it's tightening again. So we'll see what happens on that. Nothing else much to report on cool for the most part. All right. happypennystocks@gmail.com. To bring that up, I got an email on IMNP, and who sent me that email? Because he believes that what basically happened to Yecco today could happen to IMNP, where they get that approval from NASDAQ to continue trading at these depressed levels. IMNP, he believes, could be really taking off soon. Mubashir, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And this is another stock that we've talked about here on the show, IMNP, Immune Pharmaceuticals, trading at about 22 cents a share now. Again, been really, really beat up at 22. I would have loved to have been able to get in at this 18, but at 22, it's still not bad at 22 if it could do something here. Maybe, yeah. I mean, this is another stock that has some spikeability. We talked about it here in the past, but again, it's one of those stocks that when it runs, it just gives those gains right back. So you just got to be quick with the trigger, kind of like that RXII situation we had last week, where you just got to be at the right place at the right time. All right, get it in cheap, sell it when it runs, because it won't hold those gains too much longer. All right, that's basically the gist of this stock. As you can see right here, it looks like last month something came out here and took the stock, what's that, from 17 to a high of almost 35, 36. Nice gain for whoever was in there at 17. Obviously, the guys who were in were quick to run for the door. All right. What else we got here? NWBO flipping stocks. What's going on, Devin Miller? Darth Vader, what's good, man? Let's see here. Northwest Biotherapeutics. Nice play on that one, too, as well. Nice play on that one, too. NWBO looking nice. Let me see here. NWBO. Nice play on NWBO today. 1% gain in the stock. But, NWBO is another stock that's got a long way to make it back, man. It's got a while to make it back. So we're going to have to see what happens with NWBO. This is a stock that's been beat up. That's been beat up since last month. And after that offering, that direct offering, this basically, really, really hurt the stock big time. So I'm not sure why it did that. But that's exactly the thing it didn't need. That's exactly the thing it didn't need. All right. What else we got going on here? NWBO. But you know what? I'm going to put NWBO on the list, though, just in case. because that could develop into something. So I'd actually like to NWBO just in case, just to watch, because again, that's another stock that's done some things in the past we want to keep an eye out on. NAK is the resource play. NAK is the resource play. Beautiful chart, man. Beautiful, beautiful chart. Again, you know, when commodities on gold and silver were so depressed, NAK was depressed. And sure enough, gold and silver is running, well, not incredibly, but they're up. They're up compared to where they were several weeks ago. And, you know, that chart's looking wonderful on NAK right now. So NAK 9% gained in the stock today. If you're looking to get in, you know, we'll see whether or not we're probably a little bit too high now, but as you can see, after every strong of a gain, there's a nice little pullback. And I think if you find the floor and you're willing to ride it out a little bit, you could probably get back in there at 220. You're at 250 now on NAK. That's the chart I'm talking about right now, by the way, NAK. But you might be able to get back in there at 230, 220 on that pullback. So, but that's a nice chart, man. That's a beautiful chart. That almost looked like the way Sprint looked for a long time too. Yeah. ISBG. Franklin Joe. He said ISIS. Is there an ISIS ticker? No, man. No, he's playing around. I thought it was like ISIS. I'm like, what the what? International Spirit and Beverage. ISBG. Okay, this is another one of those triples. ISBG looks like a couple of days ago they reported tequila sales. All right, ISBG. This is one of those smaller companies I don't know much about. Don't know much about this company, so you're gonna have to let me know what's going on with ISBG. Looks like it's done some things in the past here. In June, had a nice little run here as well, a couple spikes here as well back in May of last year. But I mean, we're already close to those tops. I mean, its 52-week high is 0012, so hasn't done much as a company, but we'll see what happens on that. We'll see what happens with those stocks. What's going on, Sidhar? PULM going up tomorrow. You know, it already did pretty good today, man. You know, like anytime you have a you know, a situation like this, and in fact, I even tried a paper trade because I was thinking about a move myself in the stock today. As you can see here, I played a paper trade in the stock just to see what the stock was doing. But this is another situation where you had a stock that was very depressed, right? Oh, it had a very, very bearish chart for quite a while. I mean, you know, looking back on the history today, I was like, okay, what levels are we breaking here? There were no levels to be broken. You know, there were no levels to be broken. This was a stock that was and had been bearish for a very, very long time. I'm seeing declines starting, you know, as far back as June of last year. And for the most part, the stock really, you know, hadn't done much, you know, hadn't done much at all. So, you know, PULM is actually quite dangerous at these levels, honestly, you know, a little bit dangerous at these levels. You know, if you're in the stock, I would take my gains and run. FDA approval, you know, that's huge. That's huge, but it's typically not something that will keep the stock running for multiple days. I mean, maybe 1 day, 2 days. But as you can see here, the chart is already showing a little bit of weakness toward the end of the day. So if I'm in PULM, I'm taking my gains and going home. Personally, I'm taking my gains and going home. This isn't a stock that I would suggest anybody jump in tomorrow and try to look for $2, $3 to tomorrow, you know, tomorrow on this. That's just me though. That's my take on it. But I'd love to you know, hear your opinion. But based on what I see in the chart, nah, I wouldn't go for it. Not at all. All right. SPHS. That's a stock we talked about here. What's going on, Connor? I see Connor in the chat room. What's going on, Connor? SPHS, $2.90.
You know, SPHS is a stock that's ran before. In fact, let me pull up an older chart. You know, we can see SPHS did some things late last year, but for the most part, you know, it's been pretty quiet as this 6-month chart shows. I do remember us talking about SPHS toward the beginning when I started my show. And as you can see here, this is kind of where we talked about it at. But for the most part, it hasn't really done much. You know, it hasn't really done much ever since. So, I mean, look, at these prices, maybe you're in sitting pretty. But this is kind of one of those stocks where you kind of sit in and, you know, go for the ride. You know, obviously based on the chart here, you just got to be patient and go for the ride here. All right. On SPHS, because you look like you're at good support here on SPHS. You say possible buyout? Okay. Yeah, if there's a possible buyout coming, then, you know, you're sitting at the right price. All right. Obviously, there's support here. You know, you might get a day up or day down, but, you know, overall, it looks like it's not too bad. You know, because we were talking about buyouts here. If you guys remember, PTX was supposed to be that buyout. It never happened. PTX actually did a good day today. 919, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Sal, how's it going?
Hey, Bad Scientist. What's good with you, man?
Nothing much. Hi, traders. Yeah, just wanted to bring to your attention iCloud, ICLD.
Okay.
It looks like, so this is one of those like low-risk plays because this one's been floundering around in the 2-cent region.
Yeah,
it looks like it might break 3 cents tomorrow. So if it does go above 3 cents, I'm all in.
Okay. ICLD, yeah, man. I just had the longer chart on there. It was beat to death. I mean, here's the 6-month chart. This thing was just beat up. And
so this one could really bounce for 50-100% gain if it keeps that reversal pattern. That's why I think it closed today at 0.0250 something. So it needs to go above 3. More importantly, if it gets to about 0.354, there's some resistance there, but definitely I would definitely consider getting into it.
Now, Bad Scientist, what's going on right now in the company that's creating these gains? Almost, damn near almost 50% gained almost today. I mean, what's going on right now in the company?
This one I'm not sure. I didn't actually look at the news, but trust me, I'll be tweeting something about it after this call. I didn't. It was basically on my technicals, just looking at very low priced Nasdaq, NSE, MX type of stocks. And there's another one like this one, but I don't trust that one as much as PVCT. PVCT normally is around, I think, 1 cent or 1.5 cents. So that's another one to look out for at the 2 or 3 cent breakout.
Yeah. Both of these stocks that you talked about, these were all former Nasdaq stocks that got delisted.
Yeah.
And now they're at prices that you can just really, buy a ton of shares and kind of sit on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. PVCT, here's the 6-month chart. Here's a stock, it was delisted and moved down to OTC markets, now trading on OTC. So at this 1 cent, you're actually looking like you're sitting in pretty here if you're in at 1 cent on PVCT. And it's still got pretty good volume
I
today.
would say if anyone has like $500 or a couple of $100, just buy PVCT and just hold it until it bounces back. Because these are kind of like my favorite plays, like they're heavily oversold. You do have to watch out for them because if the volume starts dropping, the average volume, then they're not as attractive. You typically want to see a stock with at least, I would say, 500,000 as an average, a 3-month average trade volume. But yeah, I mean, PVCT, There's also CVM, but that one kind of like that one's kind of finicky. But
Yeah.
I think that's around 12.5 cents.
Yeah.
But definitely iCloud and PVCT. I would just whenever they're down there, just buy them because I think the risk of them even going down further is not as great because they're really at the bottom. So just look out for those two. And then lastly, there's the one I brought up yesterday to you that you said it's garbage. That's a CLSN.
We'll say that again.
CLSN.
CLSN. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what that did today. All right. 30%. Okay. I definitely take that back on that game. I mean, some news came out on their Ovation study. What is that about?
Yeah, that was some, I believe it was like some breast cancer study. But that one I actually held it from Friday because what it did on the Thursday, it had a green day on Thursday, and then it had like a doji that was higher up. So a doji is indecision between buyers and sellers, and so I said to myself, it looks like it's actually recovering. And normally, if you get a doji, especially like at the bottom of a chart, if it opens up higher, you should just get into it because that's called a doji sandwich, which is actually a very good setup when you have a previous day is green, followed by the next day doji, which is what Friday was, and then of course today it just gapped up and well, today was a bit tricky because that was a gap and trap. I think it opened at 60 cents or 61 cents, went all the way down. But if you look at my tweet, I kind of, when I do have time and I'm not in the lab playing with chemicals or genes or whatever, I'll often write down my trading strategy as I'm actually doing it. And it's actually worked in my favor a lot, like especially with if you look at BNTC today, that was one of the biggest gainers earlier. It's preferable not to jump into a stock right at the beginning. Give it like, I don't know, on the 5-minute chart, give it like, 10, 15, 20 minutes just to find itself. Because you never want to be caught in a gap and trap and buy.
Hey, Bad Scientist, what was that ticker?
Which one?
The last one that you just mentioned.
Oh, BNTC, the one that went up today. B as in Bath, N as in naughty, T as in Tom, and C as in condom.
Okay, yeah, I see the run here. Okay. So
I have a strategy that works pretty well for me, especially with these huge runners. Most of us, we're pretty scared to get into them, but what you need to do is put your candlestick charts to a 5-minute chart, and then, like a broken record, yes, you're going to use VWAP. Normally, you'll get some kind of a pullback below VWAP, and it'll develop some kind of support below VWAP. Then, as it's swinging back through VWAP, that's when you buy it.
Okay.
And as long as it goes through VWAP, as it's passing VWAP, you're now getting the stock. I'm telling you, this works. Just, guys, go back and do your work on this. Look at the runners. Some of them, some of the stocks will just run off on the get-go, like it opens and it goes up in the first 5 minutes, it goes up in the second 5 minutes. If that happens, then obviously get in by all means. But with most of these stocks, especially that gap up so much at the open, people will start taking profits, so you get that initial dip. And what you want to do is, if that dip goes below VWAP, you're waiting to buy basically below VWAP and as it's coming through VWAP. And
Okay,
then
so
if you use,
so I'm looking at
yes,
I'm looking at the chart now. So
yes,
okay, so we'll set up. Here's the 1 day. Is actually about a day and a half, and then obviously it shows that today's
yes,
gain. And then so yours okay. I got the VWAP up. So when the stock
uh-huh,
is below VWAP, you're saying this is basically the buy
yes,
as we're going above VWAP.
yes.
And then you're just kind of trying to basically find that top, and then if it starts to pull back towards VWAP, you sell.
Yes, no. Actually, okay. So if it goes below VWAP, you're waiting to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you're buying when you see that pullback, you're
morning,
waiting
okay.
for it. Yes, in the morning.
Okay.
Because what VWAP gives you is a fair price below which you should buy. If you're buying way above VWAP, you're already paying too much for it.
Okay.
So what you need to do is if there's a pullback in the morning, put in your VWAP in the 5-minute chart. If it's below VWAP, you know, okay, I can possibly get it at this price. But then the kicker is you now have to look for reversal as it's going back up past VWAP.
Okay.
And two good indicators for that you use in combination with VWAP is your 4 and 8 exponential moving averages.
Okay.
The 4 exponential will catch the immediate reversal, and the 8 will give you the confirmation.
Okay. Got it.
So if any of you guys, let's say you missed a big run, maybe it's half an hour after the open and you're like, damn, I missed that run, put your 5-minute chart. If the stock is actually below VWAP, you're in the money, because as long as there's momentum on that stock, the profit takers will come and drive the price down.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see the swing of the 4 and 8 exponential, when you see them curving upwards, now the price is approaching VWAP. That's your signal to start buying. And then as it shoots past VWAP, you know you're in the money. And basically then you can use VWAP if you like,
Okay.
as support for the day. But what the stocks tend to do is actually they tend to approach VWAP towards the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when institutions are more than likely going to be buying the stock because they don't like the volatility and
Sure.
all of that nonsense. So they'll wait either for midday or towards the end of the day, where you'll see most stocks will actually tend to go towards VWAP at the end of the day.
All right. So Bad Scientist, you've given us, 3 really, really good plays here, to look into for these next, this next trading day and the days moving forward. ICLD, PVCT, and BNCT. Now, out of all of them, which one, if we had to say this is going to be green tomorrow and you're going to get 10+%, which one do you think it would be?
ICLD, baby, all the way. I mean, it's been stuck at 2 cents for quite some time. If ICLD breaks 3, so as you can see right now, it's slightly under the 20-day moving average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your 20-day moving average on the chart?
I got my 200. Let me put up my 20. You said a 20 moving average?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
let me,
20 cent moving average. So that coincidentally was the top of your candle wick on today's ICLD candlestick. So I think that's at about 0277.
Okay.
It closed at 0259, but I think it reached a high
Of
of
0276. Okay, so we have
which happens
broken.
to be the 20-day moving average.
Yeah, we broke the 20-day moving average just below 2 cents.
Yeah, so if it breaks that 0276, I would be in all the way. I found, especially for daily, for swing trading, that 20-day moving average is also a confirmation to go in, either on the downside or on the upside.
Okay.
So if you're seeing a break of your 4 and 8 exponential moving average, and then it breaks the 20, by all means, just get in.
Now, Bad Scientist, when you talk about the moving averages, are you only using exponential, or the 20 is the regular moving average?
Yes, yeah, the 20 is the regular, and then
Okay.
the 4 and the 8 are
Or
exponential.
exponential. Okay.
Yes. And you know what I just discovered, because back a few months ago, someone asked me why I'm not using Bollinger Bands.
Uh-huh.
And the default Bollinger band, guess what the middle band is? It's the 20-day moving average.
Oh, yeah, I did know that. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I can use the 4, the 8 exponential in combination with the 20 simple moving average,
Okay.
and that will be almost like using Bollinger Bands, because if it breaks the middle Bollinger Band,
Mm-hmm.
which is the 20-day moving average, as it's going towards the upper band, you can buy into that. So I'm simply saying, look at the 20-day simple moving average and buy as it breaks above that.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's a good move. I like that idea. I was using 10 and 20 for a long time, but I
Okay.
like that idea of 4 and 8, though. That's even closer.
It just simplifies it. So
No.
now really I've just got 4 at the most.
Mhm.
Like if I'm doing intraday, so the same day,
Mhm.
I can get away with VWAP and the 4 and the 8 exponential. But if I'm doing longer days like swing trading,
Mhm.
then I can use the 20 simple moving average on that.
Okay.
And it's good for shorting as well. So if a stock is at the top and it breaks the 4 and 8 exponential moving average,
Mhm.
you can start shorting the stock. If it crosses the 20, so let's say, initially you get pullbacks, right, when you're shorting a stock, or on when it starts going back up, you can get a pullback.
Mhm.
And let's say you want to hold it for multiple days to get the maximum profit. So let's say you're shorting Angie's List, for instance.
No.
If it breaks the 4 and 8 exponential, you can start shorting it.
No.
And then you only get out of the position when it actually closes below the 20,
No.
and then vice versa if the stock is going up. So if for all you swing traders that want to hold stocks for days, weeks,
No.
if you're long on the stock,
Actually, I actually got Angie's List pulled up here, and
okay,
yeah, I mean,
okay, sure.
as the stock dipped under the 20, yeah, that would have been a great short. Looking at the chart as we speak right now, that would have been a really great short for
Yeah, because
somebody.
you would have bought it at about $9. That's when the price closed. It closed at the 20 when it came through the 4 and 8 exponential, and then when it finally, so you would have shorted it. What date is that? The 20th December. You would have shorted it, and you'd still be shorting it right now because it's still below the 20 simple moving average. So then what you can do is use the 20 as actually your
you can go all right, just
your,
like you said,
stop loss.
you could have gone back as far as December, and stayed in the
Yeah.
stock.
So the reverse is true when you go long. If you want to hold a stock, try and maximize your gains. Buy as the price is passing the 4 and 8 exponential moving average, and then as long as the trend is upwards, use the 20 simple average as your stop loss point. It has to close below the 20 for you to get out. Often you'll see the actual wicks of the candlesticks touching or kissing that 20 moving average. Don't get out. It has to actually close below the 20 if you're going long. And then if you're shorting it, it has to then close above it for you to get out.
Yeah.
And thereby you can maximize your profits. Yeah.
Got it, man.
All right. Thank you, Sal.
Thank you so much, Bad Scientist. Appreciate the call, man.
Sure, no problem. Take care.
All right, thank you. So yeah, shout out to Bad Scientist. Always learning something new when he calls up, man. So 20-day, yeah, he's spot on when he talks about that 20-day moving average, because I'm looking at, you know, Angie's list here. The big yellow line is the 200, right? So as it goes below the 200, even below the 20 caught it earlier than the 200 then. You know, it caught it, you know, almost 2-3 days earlier than the stock went below the 200 moving average. So nice little call there from Bad Scientist. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. All right. Yeah, this is yeah, well, this particular chart is an hour chart because I'm more spread out with the time. But typically, yeah, when I pull up a chart here, it's a 5-minute chart. It's a 5-minute chart. All right. Obviously, you guys know he mentioned ICLD, which, by the way, put up some stupid numbers today. ICLD almost up 50% before settling before 33 cents a share. But ICLD, you know, nice move for that stock today on ICLD. Yeah, it was a big move for them. Big move for them. All right, ICLD. Huge move for them. But he said this would be the stock tomorrow if he had to say one thing would be a 10% gain or more. He said it would be ICLD. That would be the move for him tomorrow. So I mean, we've already got a pretty decent list developing so far for the show. We've got a pretty decent list. It's very pharmaceutical heavy. All right, very biotech heavy, but you know, if that runs, then that's where the money is. Then that's where the money is, because at the end of the day, you know, those news, the news that those stocks drop, man, that brings people. That brings the money. That cannot be denied. When a good pharma stock drops, you know, an FDA announcement. I mean, what runs better than that? What runs better than that? Okay. What we got here? AFTM, SIRC. So you don't like the hanky ashy? You don't like the hanky ashy? We can go back to regular cat and candlesticks, but sometimes it just, you know, complicates things when you see a bunch of gaps and shit in the stock and people are like, what's that? I can't see it, you know. Somebody brought up SIRC, OTC oil and gas play. What does it look? See what I'm saying? If I bring up the candles, you see how it looks real, like you can barely even see it. It's not really, can't really tell what the pattern is if we use candlesticks. And again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you guys who don't know, the gaps in the stock are basically where there weren't any orders. You see what I'm saying? There weren't any orders during that day. You know, if you look at a more busier stock like an AMD or a Sprint, you'll see how they're pretty much all connected, because throughout the day you're seeing orders in the stock, but no orders in the gaps area. So that's why I like to use the Helkin Ashy chart, because these are stocks were typically, you know, swinging, or, you know what I'm saying, trading for a day. I just kind of want to be able to see the pattern, you know, not necessarily to hide any information. You just want to see where it's going. Yeah. Oh, you say because it's no volume. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never want to, you know, if it's got no volume for you, of course that, you know, but when other people want to see it, you know, Connor saying wants to skip over it. That's hilarious. MPET, Sinclair. MPET, NASDAQ stock up 18% a share. Let me see here, because let me see. All right, so here's you guys can see it. I went to the candlesticks. Let me see here. I went to the candlesticks. You guys can see it, right? Or I have to make it a little brighter. because I know sometimes with the candlesticks it doesn't look as good. Let me brighten it up a little bit here. Let me brighten it up. All right, should look a little bit better. Make the green brighter, the red brighter. All right. What's going on, Jay? You got a gift for me, RAD? Let me see. Let's see what. Well, Jay, if you want to, hey, call up and tell us about why it's so great. 760, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's up? This is Trading Jedi, man.
Hey, Trading Jedi, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing much, man. It's L season for me, honestly. Hate to break it to you, but took my first drawdown in about like a good 6 weeks. So,
Okay.
but I had it coming. Got a little ahead of myself, but still doing pretty well if I do say so myself.
Okay.
I was just on the subject of that. I just wanted to say, I have a journal. So Bats was talking about writing his stuff down in a journal earlier today, writing down his strategies, and man, nothing pays like writing out your trades and your strategies, because you can go back and you can see where you made your mistakes, and that's how you make the money. It's like seeing where you went wrong. If you went right, you made money. You know what's up, but when you go back on paper, you can't deny it. Your strategy, your price points, everything like that, it'll definitely put you in check. So definitely recommend everyone starting a journal.
Okay.
Props to Bats on that one. But yeah, man. So I have a couple picks I'm looking at.
Let's go.
I was just on the screeners for like 2 hours straight, dude. My eyes were bugged out. I was here in the dark. But for all you new people out there, FinViz, if you're looking for screeners, ways to sort stocks, look up stocks by different things, FinViz is the best free scanner from my experience. So if you guys want to check that out. So what I got here is ticker symbol OVAS.
Okay.
And
OVAS. This is OVAS Science is a stock that I've dealt with in the past. What do you like about this one?
It's got actually, if you look at it on the daily chart, so it's like each day is one candle. And I like the gaps, by the way, myself. We were just talking about that. I like the gaps because, eventually they say the gaps got to get filled. Here we had a gap down. Yeah. And it has a strange pattern, which I actually like this pattern. If you looked at, on the 22nd, it had a gap down like 25%, and then it sold off like an additional like 30% that day.
Yeah,
ever since then, the buy side volume has been look at the buy side volume every day since that. At these levels, people want to buy, and it's still on the low, and that's when it's on the low. That's how we've been seeing all these biotechs lately. The same pattern. It's either gap down or it's been in a downtrend, and it just slowly drifts up with buy side volume on the low key, and then it has like a day or two pop where everyone chases, and that's trying to trade the momentum is where I took my losses, because just the way the market has been handling the price action has been different. Okay. But on OVAS, like that chart pattern where it's kind of just drifted up sideways, and it's about to challenge, those 18, that middle Bollinger Band soon, because it's the price is moving sideways, but the Bollinger Band is moving downwards, so that can make a little pop. And if it just goes up to fill that gap, like earnings season is coming up. I mean, what if they had a good earnings? You never know. If it just simply fills that gap, and also challenges that 50-day moving average, which is about in the same area, that right there is like a 75-80% gain. So just looking at that, because I like the NASDAQ. And also on the subject of the NASDAQ, I don't know if everyone's noticed, but ever since the first of the year, the market's been running almost the same strategy on these bios, where all the strongest volume comes in pre-market, and then basically the majority of the move fades unless there's a small pop midday. And then
what do you think is causing that? What do you think is causing that? Because I've seen that a little bit too. It's
smart money. They this year they're like, 2017, we're not going to let people piggyback on our trades throughout the day. We'll just. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but they just the market likes to mix it up, and that's my guess. Is they figured out, people like the momentum trade off this, so let's pump it pre-market, after market, and then not let anyone inflate the price anymore,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't have to when institutions or big buyers are loading up, they don't accidentally inflate the price by pumping it. So they're trying to suppress it and still keep loading. That's my guess.
Interesting. Okay.
So that happened with XGTI recently. That
Yeah.
happened with Givo today. GEVO. That's another one I'm looking at, because it's got a little bit of volume after hours, just a little bit. But then it had huge volume pre-market today. So, and then it did okay during the day, but not as good as pre-market. So I'm thinking tomorrow I might get another pre-market pump and then fade again, because that's just how these things have been running lately. So I took a couple L's day trading because, you know me, I like to scale in right at the open, or even if just to buy a little dip. But you can't even get those dips now unless like you plan on holding overnight, which is kind of sketch. So it's all about catching that gap right now, which is why I like OVAS, because if those bios keep popping, the Nasdaq is really strong right now, and you know, this is the kind of way it's been setting up. So that's just one thing to look at.
Okay. OVAS definitely on the list. I like the fact that it's beaten up a little bit too, so it's got some ways to work its way back up.
Yeah, for sure. And I just went through their news. Like, they were recently, just a couple days ago, at the J.P. Morgan, some kind of conference thing.
Yeah, that they were
presenting. And the only reason I guess the stock gapped down is because they downsized some of their operations. But like the stock took like almost a 60% haircut off that. So I'm thinking maybe the market overreacted to that, and so maybe it'll just kind of bounce back. Like, especially with earnings coming up and people loading up before.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, that, and I don't know, maybe Givo will get pumped a little more. It looks like that, like all these biotechs in the Nasdaq and like technology companies look like they're just kind of floating back and forth at higher price levels than they previously have, and they look like they want to like continue running for like start trending. It almost looks like they're trying to, like, lots of them are trying to sputter up and straight up reverse their trend for a while, and that would be really interesting. So.
It would be. It really would be. I mean, there's quite a few that unfortunately we had talked about on the last call that were delisted, that all of a sudden are slowly kind of making some runs back. But on the Nasdaq, besides the stock we just talked about, what else are you seeing moving forward? Let me see if that VTVT. I remember that one, VTVT. That one, I don't believe that's on anybody's radar, but that's another one that I'm watching too. Still a little bit high up there, I guess, for me. But VTVT is another biotech play that I've got my eye on. But other than that, based on that last report on the positive top-line results, so I was thinking possibly another FDA announcement for them too down the road, but we'll see. But besides them, were there any other biotech plays you were looking at?
Well, you know that I track the stock AMDA, and in the next 12 days, they're either going to basically face more dilution, or they're going to get an approval for like a extension, and I don't know if they're going to get pumped for the approval of the extension, but that's coming in the next basically 1 to 2 trading weeks from now.
Okay.
So I'll bring it up later when it gets closer to it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Other than that, for bio plays, that's OVAS is probably the best one. Like I said, I also like Givo. I know I said like I don't like the stock recently, but the price action, just looking at it the past few days, is making me kind of want to change my mind, and having to.
Now, does the recent reverse split bother you at all, or no?
I haven't read too much on it. I'm just looking technically at the charts. But if you're talking about the reverse split that it's gone through, it's not facing more dilution, is it? Am I right?
I don't believe so. But based on what it just did on that reverse split, does it at these higher prices, do you think is it worth what it is going for right now? You still believe that?
I don't specifically value a company per se, but
Right.
I know that like sometimes after a reverse split, they shake out a lot of the bag holders like right now, and then finally it's been diluted so many times that someone steps in and they're like, okay, well this is not going to get diluted anymore, so I guess I can buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. I'm just looking at the charts and I'm seeing volume coming in. Just that's the only thing that's kind of making me follow it is just like the volume. It's like coming in like the green candles
Yeah.
are bigger than the red candles, and like significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them loading on the low. The Nasdaq, if you look at the Nasdaq right now, it's on fire actually. And then in terms of trend, and then all the other market indices like the Dow and the S&P, they're really lagging and almost looking like they're going to straight up break down right now. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why all the action is right there, because it's like the hot sector.
Right. Okay.
For sure, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the call, Trading Jedi.
Yeah, dude, always a pleasure. Keep it up, man.
All right, thanks a lot for the call. All right, so shout out to Trading Jedi, man. So Jivo, is he likes it. He really likes it. I'm kind of sideways on Jivo. Little sideways a bit on Jivo, but because after that split, but I do like his call on OVAS though. I do like that OVS call he likes, and that gap down I wouldn't have noticed it, if he didn't bring it up. Obviously, it's a stock that I haven't looked at in quite a long time, but OVAS. That gap down is something serious, and that is something that it could make its way back up. All right. So OVAS was his call, and I'm going to put that on the chart too. Jivo as well is going to be on there as well, because he may be seeing something I don't see. All right. He may be seeing I don't see. So we got a nice little list so far too on that one. KBLB, Sandwolf. What's going on, Sandwolf? KBLB. 14% gain. Yeah, that does definitely get a money chart, man. That's a nice one. So shout out to Sam Wolf for KBLB. That's a nice looking chart there. Kraft Biotech Laboratories. This is an OTC play. Another biotech kind of play. Looks like it got out of some really tight consolidation there for over a couple of months, kind of broke out there. So we'll see where that leads. All right, that's another biotech play. Looks like it's got a little bit of a ceiling, and it's got to work its way out of there. It's got some previous highs out there. It's got to break through, but we'll see what can happen there. But overall, not bad. So I'm not sure what the pump is over here, but I love that stair step pattern when I see these in those OTC stocks. And we haven't even gotten to, again, OWCP was the big winner today. I don't know if you guys saw OWCP today. That was absolutely incredible, man. That was absolutely incredible watching OWCP. And again, this was just one day. This was one day the stock opened up at 51 cents a share, got all the way up to 95 cents. Gained as 45 cents a share today in one day alone in OWCP. All right. One day alone got to a high of almost 60, 70% or so on OWCP. And this wasn't a situation where it was pumped though. I don't see any pump emails about it. If you guys received a pump email, let me know, but I don't remember receiving. And I checked my mailbox. I didn't see a pump email on OWCP. So not necessarily sure where that came from, but regardless of the guys who won big in it, congrats to you. OCAL, I'm seeing that mentioned a lot in the chat room, OCAL. I'm not sure what was causing that. OCAL with the 41% gain. So shout out to everybody who was in that one. 702, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Sal.
Hey, this is Jay. What's going on, man?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a minute, man.
So it's been a while since I last called in,
Yes.
but usually my calls are quite credible.
Yes.
Last year I brought you some AMD and some GSAT that
Yeah.
performed pretty well.
Yeah.
So this year the first play I'm going to suggest is RAD, my Rite Aid.
Yes.
And what's interesting about Rite Aid is that it is undergoing a merger deal with Walgreens. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware of the deal with Walgreens. I thought that was pretty much all in the chart, but you believe, I'm guessing, that there are more gains to come.
Sure is. I'm looking at $9 a share deal, preferably as Trump takes office. Because remember way back when we were talking about GSAT and we were riding the GSAT wave,
Okay.
right, to hit that $1.30 spike, and then later on, $1.50, $1.80. Well, the thing with GSAT is they are waiting for a flip in the FCC to change out 2 of their board members, right? Similar with the Walgreens and Rite Aid merger, we're looking to win a regulatory approval when Trump comes into office and flips the FTC board members. So apparently the chairwoman, I think her name is Edith Ramirez, is stepping down and leaving the FTC. And I think another commissioner is also stepping down. So this will, shake up the board a little bit to get some new members into approving this merger. Inclusive to that as well, we should be looking at AT&T, which is just T in ticker symbol, and Time Warner Cable. Time Warner supposedly was going to merge or be bought out by AT&T, and that's also dependent on regulatory approval with the FCC. So both of these federal commissions, the FTC and the FCC, are having their members shaken up and moved around as a result of Trump coming into office. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that RAD, which is Rite Aid, and Walgreens, WBA, could have potential upwards movement. In RAD, we see a cup and handle pattern beginning to form from mid-December till now, and it could be a potential bullish move. You might get another 40 cents to the upside. This is at the day chart. For WBA, for Walgreens, it's trading at $84, but the high, the 52-week range is upwards to 88.
Yeah.
So there's a $4 difference per share, coming out of this merger. So overall, when the merger occurs, we can see another 10% move to the upside.
Okay. On Walgreens, I'm looking at the Walgreens yearly chart now. So yeah, I see here we're at 84.22. I see the high up there, and you think we're going to probably touch that 52-week high?
Perhaps. It's a good thing to speculate and watch, or get invested if you're in it already. I'm certainly going to take up another position on Rite Aid, RAD, simply because it's so cheap compared to Walgreens.
Now, Rite Aid did an incredible run since November. I mean, that's just a huge, beautiful chart since November.
Yes, this is towards the free up of it's called the health savings plan, the health savings account. Supposedly when Trump gets in office, after the post-elections, after the announcement of the winning of the election, supposedly that's going to be more in effect, because the health savings account is both a combination of a Roth IRA and your standardized IRA, but the contributions that you put towards it is pre-tax, and you can only use it for qualified, medical medical issues. So like
Okay.
chiropractic, pharmaceuticals, your routine physical exams. So being pharmaceuticals being one in there, it's very beneficial for
For Rite
these
Aid.
drugstores.
Okay.
Rite Aid.
Yeah. All right. So Rite Aid, WBA, which is Walgreens, and I believe you had a third one.
I talked about AT&T
AT&T, there we
and
go. Which is
and
ticker
Time Warner
symbol
Cable.
T, WBA. And what's the ticker for Time Warner Cable? Time Warner Cable was supposed to be bought out by Charter. Is that correct? Is that deal not going through, or?
I don't believe so. Time Warner is TWX.
Okay. Okay, because
So
I was under the impression that Time Warner Cable was being bought out by Charter Communications, like the actual cable side of the business, not necessarily. I don't know if they're including the
cable
movie
side of the business. I believe they've been bought out by a company in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Company in the Netherlands. The Time Warner, the whole company of the diversified Time Warner itself is under merger with AT&T.
Okay. I see a news here too. Proposed AT&T Time Warner deal pose threat to Dish. Okay, I do see the news here.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that speculation with the FCC
Okay.
change. Now back to GSAT. There's a sympathy play out there with GSAT. Are you aware of the recent rocket launch with these new satellites?
Yeah, I know. This has been the first one after a crash last year, so obviously this one was successful, and they're really excited about the future over there. So yeah, let's tell us a little bit more about what would that have to do with GSAT?
So one of GSAT's main competitor in the satellite telecom communication sector is this company called Iridium Communications, ticker symbol IRDM.
Mm-hmm.
And they're particularly interesting because lately SpaceX launched their first satellite, and Iridium actually has their satellite on the SpaceX launch.
Mm-hmm.
So Iridium actually got their satellite, up into space. So this is fantastic for Iridium because it's now another product or resource at the company's disposal.
Yeah, and Iridium's got a beautiful chart since September. That's a nice looking chart for that stock.
So these plays, if you're into those swing and longer term plays, there are more buy and hold for 2 or 3 months. I've shifted my strategy outside of day trading and done a little bit more swing trading nowadays.
Okay.
So pretty much I'm just sitting and waiting for these things to make me money.
Good. Now, just to clarify, you believe GSAT will go higher because Iridium is basically, you believe it's just going to get some of the, the traction from the whole satellite thing.
Right.
Okay.
GSAT is going to ride the coattails of
Okay.
Iridium.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. It boosted up mid-December,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when it caught the eye of more investors again.
Mm-hmm.
When it crossed that dollar mark mid-December,
Mm-hmm.
but that was purely a technical move. I did not see any really good catalysts up till December 20th, is when the FCC reviewed their proposal.
Yeah.
But the move back to the $1 mark was purely technical. It was because at that point, if being under $1, and I don't trade things under $1,
Mm-hmm.
is because it's so cheap for that particular company. It's a company that's should be worth more than $1 billion, and for it to trade under $1, it's very substantially cheap. So people started buying in, and the technicals moved with the momentum.
Okay.
one of the interesting thing about GSAT is that the CEO has like a 49.5% stake in the company.
Oh, wow.
So everything else in the company is the remaining float. But the institutions, not like common investors like us, institutions like hedge funds and big mutual funds,
Mm-hmm.
they actually own another 30% of it. So ideally, only 10% of the stock is available for the common investor like us.
Now, is the CEO one of the kind of the CEO founder type companies, where the CEO is also the founder?
Yes, the CEO actually put up a buttload of money to
Mm-hmm.
initially build this company.
Okay.
He's some really rich billionaire that found this company and thinks that, satellite Wi-Fi should be a global thing. Sat-Fi should be available, similar to how we have Wi-Fi in our homes.
Yeah.
So there's only a short amount of shares for us and regular investors outside the institutions. So it's about 10 to 15% that's actually freely available for us to trade, and I think that was a move for that technical movement before December 20th.
Okay. I like it. GSAT, not bad.
So yeah, GSAT on the coattails of sympathy plays on Iridium.
Not bad. Thank you so much for the call.
All right, as always, been a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jay. All right, so that's always got to give Jay some props, man, because he's one of the guys who played the Trump presidency really, really well. So I really, really like his calls. He always does a really great job. Got to give him that yodel too. He played the Trump presidency really, really good. So hearing him talk about Time Warner Cable, AT&T, GSAT, I like his GSAT call. I love cheap stocks. So that GSAT smells like money to me. So that smells like money. GSAT at $1 was a buy. It was really interesting because I wanted to talk to him about that. The fact that, when we had first talked about GSAT, it was at $1, and then it went to like the 140s, and then this happened. And we never really got an idea why that happened. There wasn't really any, news to really justify this decline. And, it was honestly looking back, probably a missed opportunity for a buy. Missed opportunity to load up on GSAT at below $1 looking back. But, as it occurs, you never really, you don't really think that way because you're not sure if you're, jumping into a floating boat or not, or a sinking ship, excuse me. Jumping into a sinking ship, you don't know. All right. They called it OWC up 17,000%. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it. When we talk about OWC, OTC Trader, yeah, man. Look, OWCP was a stock that, again, not too long ago, you can go back as far as June, was at a penny a share. Call it a pump, call it a scam, call it whatever you want. I call this gains. You know what I'm saying? I call this profit. I call this, a life-changing amount of money when you can get into a stock at a cent, and now it's trading for actually below a cent, and now it traded to damn near $1 a share. Damn near $1 a share. All right. All right. So what else you guys want to take a look at? We got a pretty good list for tomorrow, though. Got quite a few lists. Let me look at a couple other stocks that you guys might have in mind for tomorrow. Give me some stocks for tomorrow, or at least a good swing. Give me a good. And shout out to everybody who called up, man. We got a really good swing plays for the next several days and several weeks. So thank you so much, Bad Scientist, Shag, Trading Jedi, Jay. Appreciate you guys so much for the call. Also, Treasure Hunter, always got good calls from him. Good ideas for some swings for the next anywhere. Some of those guys was 3 days to as far as I'm seeing as possibly, 3 months, 4 months with some of those calls. RNVA, we talked about RNVA. What is that? USCI, yeah, USCI is the long. Again, USCI is one of those stocks, for people who don't jump in, 90 days from now, 180 days from now, they're gonna wish they did. I mean, just like many of these triples, these doubles, you know what I mean? We just showed you MJ, OWCP. The one that's really quiet that hasn't done anything is MCOA. MCOA is one that I'm watching right now that's very, very quiet. I actually loaded up a little bit on MCOA today. 7 cents a share. It's getting kind of missing this marijuana rally that I think could be coming down on MCOA very soon. So we'll see on that. But that's the one that's kind of been missing. MJNA slowly, quietly holding its gains. So we'll see. Kind of a sideways day for MJNA today, but nothing serious. XFO0 or at EXFO, NASDAQ, 10% gain on EXFO. You let me know what's going on here. I'm not sure. I do see a nice chart though, based on almost half a year. That's a 6-month chart that looks really, really nice on EXFO, but you let me know if there's some more opportunities there. Yeah, Buds 3 Hooks is a stock that, let me see here, BUDZ, that was brought up in the chat room, several days ago based on what it did at the beginning of the year on Buds. This is, again, it's another stock that, came really out of nowhere. All of a sudden, it's making an astronomical gain. And, if we look at this chart, Buds is just more proof of what can happen out here. Buds is just more proof of what can happen out here when you're just, willing to just kind of be a little bit patient and see what can happen to you. 52-week low of 4 cents a share. What was that 52-week high not too long ago? What, 425? So, you're looking at a gain of 10,525%. All right. I would love a 10,000% gain. I don't know about you, but I would love a 10,000% gain. Put $1,000 on a stock, that soars 10,000%. I can't even imagine what that return is right now, but I know it's good. happypennystocks@gmail.com. Yeah, BUDZ. Okay. Yeah, but I think we're at now. I wouldn't jump on it now because I don't even know what's going on. I don't know where what's the cause of these recent gains. But of course, it would have been a nice stock to be in at these levels. It would have been real nice. And again, this is not a hanky ashy chart. I mean, this is a candlestick. So as you can see, the volume, not necessarily the greatest, but it's coming through. It's coming through. And a lot of these penny stocks that are at the $3, $4 level, they're not necessarily, they don't necessarily have a ton of volume, but they have consistent enough volume that it shows its gains. You can get in and out of your trades because you're not walking in and out of here with 10,000, 20,000 shares at $3, $4 a share anyway. Not most of you anyway. NAK talked about Raybo, WCP talked about CBIS, CVSI talked about TGB. What's going on with TGB? That's an oldie. Talked about TGB, Takeo Mines. TGB is an oldie. Very nice chart. Again, this is another mining play. And I have TGB lined up. And in fact, I want to say maybe Jay even talked about this stock a while ago. I think this was one of his stocks, actually, when I think a while ago. TGD, if I'm right. But TGD is another one. Has been really, really doing really well since Trump. And I consider this to be a Trump stock. This is a Trump stock. So as you can see, basically from the day he was elected, it's just taken off literally from November 8th. The gap up the very next day, and then it's just been to the roof on TGB. All right, so you let me know, how high this can go. You let me know how high this can go on TGB. 5-day chart doesn't show, any weakness at all on the 5-day chart. Still pulling to the right, flagging very nicely. So it looks like this could probably keep going on TGD. TradingView is not letting me know what the PE ratio is. I don't have time to look at the books, but at $1.24, maybe it's still got a couple pennies to put on there. But TGB is the ticker. I'll put it on the chart. Maybe somebody be interested in swinging this. But so far, not bad on that. Excellent call, by the way, on that one. Appreciate you bringing that one up, TGB. Who was that OTC trader you had mentioned? What is that? What are you talking about? MFST? This is another bio play, isn't it? MedFirst. Okay, it's labeling as an internet solutions company. MFT, this is another one, OTC stock. It's ran in the past, as you can see here. That's why when you brought up the chart, I knew it sounded familiar. It's done some things in the past earlier this year. Quite depressed now, so maybe you might be on to something. So we'll see what happens on MFST. At 0037, you might be on to something here, man. You might be on to something here, but very depressed. Getting it at some of the lowest levels it's been at recently as I look through the chart for the whole year. We'll see. We'll see. They are definitely slapping out a lot of news recently. All right. So it looks primed for a pump. We'll see. Time will tell. I'll put it on the list, though. I'm always in love with anything that I can be able to get. Give me some 10 baggers, DXTR, talked about that one. ZRZH. This is one we talked about here not too long ago as well. ZRZH. This is again another one of those stocks that practically was doing nothing and then came alive recently again. Where are we at right now on that? Because I can't even remember what the company does. ZRZH, Xerox Holdings, holding company focus on acquisitions of intellectual property and companies poised to capitalize. Okay, this was basically the holding company. It's got a ton of float out there, man. Almost 1 billion shares floating, just pure float, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's just not horrible. Obviously, it's still putting on some gains. I mean, but you need a lot of people out there willing to buy this thing to make it work. But you're gonna have to let me know about this one. I can't honestly tell you where it's going on ZRZH. It's kind of one of those companies. There's not too much information out there about it, IMNP, we brushed up on IMNP a little bit. IMNP is again, I received an email from a guy who thought this was going to be doing something in the next several days. This is a stock that I believe could get what Yecco got. Remember, Yecco today got the news from NASDAQ allowing them to continue, listing on the NASDAQ, basically saving the company from being delisted to OTC. IMNP might get that deal. They might get the opportunity to continue trading on the NASDAQ. If that news comes down, I think that could definitely send the stock higher. It's been depressed for a long period of time here, so that might be the only news that can really move the stock at this point, because the stock released news today about clinical stage drug that they were starting. They released some news a week ago. A few little bings here and there, but as you can see, every time news was released, sure, the company stock jumps, but it just can't maintain it. I mean, so you'll see multiple times where very sensitive to news, but doesn't hold its gains at all. All right. Desert Edge, I always eat before I come on. I usually eat before I come on, but I'm almost out of here, though. It's been a good show. Almost about to close up the show in just a bit, but I'm looking to see if anybody can give me another 100-bagger stock. PULM, I'm not expecting another, big run in PULM. I think PULM is going to have the big run in the morning, and then it's going to die towards the end of the day. AMTY. What is that? AMTY. Ameritire Corp, OTC, 4 cents a share. Let me see here. AMTY. Okay, OTC QB status. I like that. Decent volume. Manufacturing, sale, and development of polyurethane tires. Tires for... What's the application, though? All right. So they sell tires. They actually sell tires under their own brand. So it's a tire company. Ameritire. I've never heard of Ameritire before. Thank you for bringing them up, though. Ameritire, AMTY, 4 cents a share. It's a new company. I've never heard of them. 505, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Ryan Leal here in New Mexico.
All right, Ryan. I'm guessing you got some stocks for us.
Yeah, I got one I'm looking at here is POTN, POTN.
POTN.
Got an awesome move. We got MYHI as well.
All right, so let's start with the POTN. Damn, almost 200% gain in one day alone. What was that about?
Well, it's definitely pretty interesting. I don't know. It's just, I don't necessarily think it's all about smoking pot by any means.
Yeah. Pot is actually literally called Pot Network. What is this? Pot Network Holdings.
Marketing, advertising, multiple groups out there.
Okay, Pot Network Holdings. All right, so it looks like an advertising kind of company. And then what was your second ticker?
MYHI.
MYHI, Mountain High Acquisitions. Another one with triple-digit gains. 23-cent gain on this one. Decent volume today, almost 6 million shares. Let me see. What do these guys do? MYHI sounds familiar.
They have a lot of women's products, facial products, creams, utilizing, I believe, the CBD.
Okay. MYHI looks the development of, Nutrisul sectors. Yeah, also a little hemp-based products as well. Body lotions, creams, stuff like that. Okay. Not bad,
Well, I
not
just
bad.
found out about you just recently. It's pretty interesting. I like what you're doing, and very informative. And I'm, willing to want to learn what's going on. I just recently been in the pennies now for almost a year. Opened up my Fidelity account. Actually, I started my strategies in bullion, for preservation.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the penny so far since you've been doing it?
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
It really is. I've made some money. Yeah, very exciting. I mean, the momentum's there. I'm excited. I mean, I have a reason to get up in the morning on Monday morning and be excited.
Yeah. It's definitely something. Don't let it control your life, because I've seen guys, all of a sudden get addicted to charts. That's all they do for their pretty much for the rest of their days. But
Sure.
definitely something that I enjoy, and I'm glad to have you as a new watcher, man.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate your time, man. There's another one, ONCI. There's some news that came out. A group based out of, I think, Florida, and it's a Drive Safe app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ONCI. ONCI is a stock we've talked about here on the show. Especially when they had reached those highs, and it looks like it's getting back to restarting some things. I think you might still be able to get it a little bit cheaper than what it is now. I mean, believe it or not, but who knows? But I just don't think the floor has been discovered yet. But what information do you believe you have to counter that? What makes you think that it could run from here?
Well, they got a taxi group service, not necessarily like an Uber, but a major taxi group that's purchasing their Drive Safe product. And then there's also the luxury cars groups, dealerships that are actually purchasing the product as well. Chrysler, BMW, Lexus.
Okay.
Did you read that?
Yeah, I do see about the app that they brought out too as well, value-driven product. Okay, I do see the app that they're talking about. Okay. Learn a little bit more about it. Okay. Safe, yeah, the safe driving app. Okay, I do see the information about it. So you think it could, move from here, or at least, change its current pattern, that's for sure.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still a rookie when it comes to all this. So I want to do my due diligence and find out what other people are saying. Not really, the gossip and the rumors, but try to get some good facts and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it for the call, dude.
All right, brother.
All right. So shout out to a new caller, man. Call back anytime. I always love people who got some, some tickers for us to talk about. The stock ONCI has been kind of bearish. I personally feel like you might be able to get in 7, 6, even 5, based on where, it had started out at, maybe even the low 7, 6s or so. But ONCI, it's a relatively newcomer. It was called something else during this run, but it is a stock that has gone through some pumps, and we're at the end of what was a very, very profitable pump for the company. So will it happen again? It will, but as you can see here, this happened in May, this happened in November. So I just believe the next time could be, some ways away. So I think you might have an opportunity to get ONCI at a little bit of a cheaper price. I think there's some other things going on right now where money's floating to, but I would watch it if you can. Yeah, get it at 07, 0007, 0006, 0005. I would be all over it. Just have it sitting in your account. Oh yeah, yeah. So good to look at. Good to look at. That's for sure. Yeah, that's one of those stocks where you would just want to sit in it at a good price. And if it does something, great. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. All right. Appreciate it, Connor, man. Thanks for joining us, Connor. Yes, indeed. That's Connor, Mr. Options himself. Yeah, that's the Discord app. So we'll definitely be, if you guys have any questions, join us in the Discord app. That one was ONCI for that one. That one was ONCI for that particular stock. And I'm about to put these out now. So again, we had Craig G post up the Discord link. I'll post it one more time for you guys. All right, that's for the Discord. Appreciate that, Craig. And look, if you have any questions about stocks, you can join us in there. Guys, talk all day, all night in there. I was in there today earlier. It was kind of sparing today. And some guys were saying, man, you gotta get the show back on today, man. The Discord room is getting light. It's getting light. So I'm glad that we were able to get back live. So we're working through it. I know there was some buffering a little bit today, but a lot better than what we had been previously. So a lot of good stocks discussed today. I'm going to post those. A lot of good ideas for some of you guys to go through. All right, a lot of great ideas for some of you guys to go through. And the Discord room is basically just a chat room. It's a chat room where you can go and let me see here, and talk to many of the guys in the chat room individually. There's also a group chat function where you guys can all hear each other and basically have a group phone call. I mean, basically that's what it sounds like. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick. MFST, TGB, TW, and here it is. And of course T, and then T for AT&T. So those were the stocks today that we looked at. And out of all of them, I like ICLD tomorrow for the run. ICLD, in fact, I got that up twice, but ICLD for the run tomorrow is my call. I actually like that a lot for tomorrow. on ICLD. So nice play there on ICLD. All right. So it was really good to be back on the air, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad show today. I really appreciate all the callers. Appreciate the new callers too. Shout out to all the new callers who came on. Really appreciate the new callers. You guys always make this show worth it. With that being said, man, the Discord room, thank you again, Travi. Yes, I'm using TradingView. Join us in there. If you need torrents, videos how to trade, don't know how to do something, need some info on how to do something, best brokers to use, if I can't tell it to you, happypennystocks@gmail.com, then one of those guys in that Discord room will definitely be able to tell you. All right. Awesome chat room. You're able to leave messages 24/7. Guys get back to you pretty quick on there. There's always guys in the Discord room. We're always looking to grow that community because it really is a solid community of traders who love penny stocks, man. They love these stocks under $20, under $10, under $5, under a penny. All right. So, yes, indeed. So I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for the show. We'll review what we talked about today, what stocks that, made it happen, some stocks that didn't happen, new courses, new trends, whatever that are developing. I'll be back on the air tomorrow, same time, same place. Cali Girl, thank you for joining us. Who else is in the chat room? Spartan Financial, thank you, man. As always, Sinclair, appreciate it. Trading Jedi, thank you for the call, man. Raybo, Flipping Stocks. Who else is in here? Dark Vader, what's good, man? Thank you for watching. Steve Gailey, thank you for watching. Sky's Crazy. Of course, Connor, man. Who can I cheer up for best man for options? Cali Girl, of course. Londell Carter. So many people watching, but we only typically have like the same people in the chat room. What's going on, Mr. Money? Parker Mills. Who else is in here? Richie, what's good, man? Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Joe Silva, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Joe Silva's been here for a long time. Appreciate it, Joe. K Jacko, appreciate it, man. Thank you all for watching. Dealing with those issues. I appreciate you guys still standing by me. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Take care. Have a great night. Happy trading tomorrow.